occurred in 1972. And every year in the spring, that sound is regenerated. And what a sound it is. The most talented drivers in the Northeast are ready to go for 200 laps. The longest distance race of the year as far as laps are concerned, and the most prestigious race. Because when you win a Spring Sizzler, you are in the greatest company in the history of New England racing.
That is so true. You have actually arrived, as the statement goes. So they fire the engines. The NASCAR team that'll be covering the action for you in this afternoon's event, working feverishly. We remind you that now is the time, and there is still plenty of time for everybody to make their Facebook picks for the top order for this year's Napa Spring Sizzler. Do it right now.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the starter stand as let's meet our honorary starter for the 44th annual Spring Sizzler, Diane Karpinski. And she will soon grab that green flag, and it will be up to her to get the party started this afternoon.
The Napa vehicles pacing at the front of the field, and the first modified will pull behind the official pace car of Stafford Speedway. Wheel and lights will be lit atop the automobile as we are ready. Ryan Priest setting a time of 17.960. Woody Pitcat, his arch rival, 18.047, making up row number one.
Boy, they have gone eyeball to eyeball many times here at Stafford, but never on the front row of the Spring Sizzler. Talented second row, Roland Pennick and Donnie Leah. Donnie Leah loves every inch of this track. He is in car number 8. Ted Christopher has won more Spring Sizzlers than any other driver. He has won 6, including 5 of them in the Wheel and Modified Tour. And Bobby Santos looking for a hat trick. 3 in a row. And that's just the beginning of our storytelling. There's a lot more came from.
There sure is, and don't count out Timmy Salamino. He'd like nothing better than to put the Sly Zabin race car into the winner's circle here today in its second outing of 2015. Todd Szegedy didn't even know if he was going to be running this season. He'll be starting back in the 9th spot in Bob Garbarino's legendary Mystic Missile. And Keith Rocco, he's going to try to prove himself. Already the Rocco car will not fire up, and the Canto paving machine is being assisted by one of the push vehicles.
But he is able to get it out onto the track. Doug Kobe, an icebreaker weekend, started on the pole. Today he will be starting 11th in car number 2. The Dunleavy's repair number 2 car. And Patrick Emerling, the driver, is on the verge of a breakout from the Buffalo, New York area. He is a big-time hockey fan for the Buffalo Sabres, and I think he's going to try to resemble a slap shot today and just try to blur his way through the field.
Then some of the young guns, like Troy Talman from Oxford, Mass. Just a couple of years back, he was watching the Sizzler, never even thought he'd have the opportunity. And what about this opportunity? The famed, legendary Old Blue race team, the Bowler family car with so much history and much, much more.
And could Michael Bowler get a birthday present today? He will be celebrating his birthday on Wednesday, and it could be a premature celebration today if Troy Talman could have a great run.
Certainly could be. And what about Stephen Massey? Massey has run strong on what they call the Modified Race Series. Today, he sets his stakes high, competing on the Wheel and Modified Tour with car number 31, the LG Product Chevrolet.
Now Kobe has stopped on the backstretch and gets it moving again. And Steve Massey has won at Stafford. It was in a Modified Racing Series car, but he has experienced a win on this half mile. And now Kobe is moving up to his proper starting position, which will be 11th.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. You've come to the show right here at the Stafford Motor Speedway for the Napa Auto Parts 42nd Annual Spring Sizzler.
Can there be a better show than this? 33 of the most talented drivers in the Northeast ready to show you what they can do in 200 laps. Pit strategy will be very important today. Some drivers will have to make 2 stops, one for fuel, one for tires. If they have a spec engine, that is going to be the scenario there. So a very interesting spring sizzler. As our Napa vehicles have left and the spotlight is on our competitors as they wiggle those cars around and try to get some heat into those tires for the start of the race.
Down the back straightaway, ladies and gentlemen, in the toughest winter of them all, it is springtime here in New England. Get ready. Let's give them a send-off. Get up and out of those seats. Make some noise. Wave anything that you got in the air. Stomp those feet, because this is the show from Jackaroot Stafford Speedway. This is the Napa 44th Annual Spring Sizzler, as we salute the men that live by the grace of God.
And there is no doubt, Ben Dodge, that everybody is pumped up and ready to go. 43 prior spring sizzlers, 43 shows. But today, this is your show at your track, and your drivers are ready to go.
One more circuit remaining before we unleash the mighty minds. Down into turn number 1. Wheeling engineering safety lights atop the pace car. They head underneath the Napa Auto Care Center sign and work their way to the backstretch.
So the electricity and the lightning is ready. This is our 44th Spring Sizzler. One man has been to all 43 prior events, and he is behind the mic again today. Here's the voice of the Stafford Motor Speedway, Ben Dodge.
Final check of the gauges, a tightening of the belts. Get ready. The earth is going to move beneath your feet. This is the show. This is Stafford Speedway, and the Spring Sizzler is about to go green off turn number 4.
And Ryan Preece gets a great jump. Second is a question mark. Here comes Rowan Pennick, and Woody Pitcat has temporarily dropped back to third.
Pitcat a little off the pace in the outside lane, and that shuffles Ted Christopher back. Look at Justin Bonsignor. Bonsignor moves into the 3rd spot, and Santos and Todd Zegedy are making their presence known on the bottom already.
Now Santos trying to get underneath his brother-in-law, Woody Pitcat. Don't be alarmed if Pitcat drops back a bit, because he says he's going to take it very easy in the first 50 laps until he pits for fuel.
Side-by-side racing is now between Donnie Leah with the Bardol 8 car, and that is currently for the 5th and 6th position. Santos runs strong to the inside lane. Meanwhile, Todd Zegedy ducks out of line just a bit. Zegedy makes his presence known. He's in the 7th spot with the Garbarino car. Then it's Ted Christopher running in the 8th position, and in the 9th spot is Salamito. Bumper tag Woody Pitcat lets Bonsignor know he's there as Pennick sets in the 2nd spot and out in front. Car
Trying to
number
make
6.
a move is Chase Dowling as he tried to whiplash his underneath the 63 car of Tommy Rogers, and that was a battle for the number 15 position. So Chase Dowling has come to play.
Chase Dowling wanted to make his presence known in this event, and he is showing just that. Doug Colby had a problem last circuit by in turn 2. Massey almost made contact with him. Keep your eyes on Colby's machine, the number 2 car, running into 12th position.
And here comes Anthony DeSella ready to make a move as he tried to get underneath Kyle Elwood. Didn't have enough pizzazz to make it happen. At the front of the field is Ryan Preece, but look at that showdown for second as Pennick is trying to hold Bonsignor. Turn number 1, Bonsignor stays within striking distance.
He sure does. Bonsignor looks at the outside, now reels him back in. Tap to the bumper, 1-2 punch there. Woody Pitcat was kind of cautious in the first couple of laps. That's no longer the case. He's settled in and racing hard. Bonsignor is a guy to watch. High, low, glued to the back bumper of Pennick. Now remember what we heard earlier, Matt. Rowan Pennick came to Stafford to run the SKs for an opportunity to get some seat time and lap time a few years back, and I think it paid off, and I think we're going to see that.
And Woody Pitkat was able to dive bomb his way underneath Justin Bonsignor and get into the top 3. Woody was going to take it easy for the first 50 laps, but right now he is racing hard, trying to get into second place against Rowan Pennick.
Melissa Fifield about to go down a lap from the leader. Single file formation back to the bottom of the top 10.
Well, look at Pitkat make that move into second.
Pitkat, even though he told us earlier he was going to be cautious in the beginning laps of the race, Pitkat came to play, and he's going to play hard in this one. He is already up to second, and I think that plan of being cautious early is all but gone out the window.
And he said he would like to lead a lap early because you get bonus points for that. Best battle, third and fourth. Pennick trying to hold off the hard-charging Justin Bonsignor. Now it's some noise, the 4 of Todd Szegedy as he approaches the back bumper of Donnie Leah in the 8.
He certainly does. Leah doing a fine job of getting adjusted to that car. Meanwhile, look a little further back in the field. Doug Colby is way off the pace, Matt, down the back straightaway. That car has suddenly become very evil.
And he is on the verge of getting passed by Brendan Bach. And the rookie driver is able to get underneath Colby. So Colby on life support here early in the race on lap number 13.
Battle is for third. Bonsignor going, gone. He'll move into the third spot. Then it is back to position number 4. Santos has got the 5th spot, and 6th is Donnie Leah. 7th position is Szegedy. 8th position is Christopher. 9th spot is Salamito. Then they're side-by-side racing for 10th, Matt.
Boy, a little forearm shiver administered by Keith Rocco to the back bumper of the Patrick Eberly car. And Rocco drops back a little. And we know it will be just a matter of time before he strikes again. Also some aggressive racing for Eric Goodale as he tried to snip his way underneath the 31 of Steve Massey, and he is starting to torment the back bumper.
While that's been happening, Woody Pitkat has closed up that gap considerably on Ryan Preece, the race leader. Pitkat is all over him as he works his way to the bottom of 3 and 4. There's heavy traffic coming up ahead, but Pitkat is not letting Preece get far out of his sight.
A big gap between Pitkat and Justin Bonsignor, a tie between Pennick and Bobby Santos. Then Leah leads the next connection, but making some noise is Eric Goodale as his perseverance paid off and he was able to roller coaster his way.
We've got a car number 19 off turn number 4.
That's the rookie driver Brandon Ultra from Pennsylvania.
Yellow flag comes out as Brandon is unable to get that car fired back up. 18 circuits of 200 in this Napa Auto Parts Spring Sizzler event are into the record books. This doesn't appear to be the strategy that everyone was talking about earlier today in the paddock area match.
Yeah, Woody Pitkat said about lap 50 is about the earliest you can go into the pits, so they're putting fuel in the car. We're going to go to Joe and find out more.
Absolutely, Matt. This is a different strategy for these teams, and 50 was the number that we heard. They are packing this full of Sunoco Racing fuel. They also made an adjustment to the left rear tire of that automobile. Ryan Preece is off and running. Here comes Doug Colby. Again, the handling issues on this number 2 machine. You know, at the start of the season, Doug Colby, Mike Smirgliano decided they were going to change chassis manufacturers. They dominated last year with the Troyer chassis, then decided that they would run spec engines and LFR chassis. And one of the concerns that they had is that they'd be really good or they'd have a day like this, at least so far in the first handful of laps. A quick air pressure adjustment. They'll change the stagger on the back of that number 2 car to try to get the handle for Doug Colby. But boy, it's been feast or famine for this team. Win at Thompson, and then right now struggling in the early stages of the Spring Sizzler.
The last lap under green, it was Ryan Preece who turned a time of 18.501, and ironically Woody Pitkat turned almost the same identical time, Matt. So that's how close they're running is to the Woody Pitkat. Now traditionally here at Stafford, Bonsignor does not run strong like this early in the event. Strategy, Ryan Preece pits early. The Grasso brothers, they know their stuff. They've been around this sport a long time as well.
And one bit of good news for Woody Pitkat. He gets the bonus point for leading at least one lap. So that's what Pitcat wanted to do early. And because Ryan Preece early pitted, he gets that point in his cash register.
Off turn 4, the green is back out. And Bonsignor and Pitcat. Woody Pitcat looks good. And look at Rowan Pennick, Matt. Trying to muster up a little more lead on the bottom. And Donnie Leah is right behind him.
As look at Pennick as he fireballs his way underneath the 51 car of Bonsignor, as now tucks it in behind him. Side-by-side battle consisting of Donnie Leah and Bobby Santos, and that battle will be won by Donnie Leah.
It will be, and then there's side-by-side racing with Ted Christopher and Bobby Santos. That's for the 5th spot. Christopher pulls to the inside, and Christopher will take over position number 5. Look at Leah. He almost made contact that time with Rowan Pennick.
And Christopher, it was very easy for him to get by Santos, and then he almost got a headache when he ran into Leah. Patrick Everling is trying to tunnel his way underneath 20 Keith Rocco. A great group of cars there. Also Chase Dowling involved, Eric Goodale. So a very contested battle for the number 9 spot.
Look at Donnie Leah pulling to the inside of Rowan Pennick down in turn 3. Couldn't quite do it that time. Keep your eyes on that battle for that 3rd position. Pennick with that big Napa logo on the back end of his race car. And watch Leah. He'll go way out to the wall, and then when they go into turn 3, this time he's going to try to stick low, but Pennick knows he's there, and Christopher is also there. Trouble, turns 1 and 2.
As the car is pointed in the wrong direction on lap number 28, and we just had our hit yellow. And that's Gary Putnam in car number 77. Or the 37 of Dave Salzarulo. So the Brick-and-Mortar car will come, well, bypasses pit road. Dave Sapienza was able to pull, or Dave Salzarulo was able to get a deal together right before the
fuel and tires in the same pit stop. That's why it's a 2-stop race here this afternoon. Woody Pitcat is in for service. Sunoco Racing gasoline into the left rear of that automobile. They'll clean the grill off of it as well. Also, Eric Goodale is in. Good, smooth stop. No adjustments to the Goodale machine. Same story there, Tony Sutton, as they pack that thing full of fuel.
And I'll tell you what, these pits are very tight. So these guys got to manhandle those cans and the overflow can as well. And you'll see a lot of fuel getting spilled out as they pull off. That'll get swept up prior to them coming back into on the pit road, back upstairs.
Well, you know, the Goodale team already has a victory in the Southern Wheel and Modified circuit this season as well, so they're no stranger. Going to go back to the start of 2015, New Smyrna Speedway. Grasso Brothers and Eddie Partridge bought that race car there. It won the title, but in the opening day events, it was too light. You know why, Matt? Not enough fuel. So the spec engine and the fuel.
And the Ron Capps autographed shirt. Get your tickets out, and at our next opportunity, we will let you know who the winners are.
Lights are off on the safety vehicle at the point. Bonsignor, the 93 of Rowan Pennick, row 1, row 2, Christopher, the 8 car of Leah. Here they come. Back to the stripe, green, and they're racing. Bonsignor, the M3 machine, at the point. Look at Donnie Leah.
Donnie Leah has come to life, hasn't he? As he gets by Pennick and now is going after Bonsignor. Here comes Bobby Santos.
Salamito, throw him into the mix. Trouble. We've got one up into the Armco at the top of turn number 4. And it's the 79 car for the Hillbilly Race Team. And that, of course, is a driver from Dawsonville, Georgia. Setting stranded for Spencer Davis in the Coors Means 21 car. Third yellow of the event. Lap lead. Lights are off at the point. Pace car is going to dive in. As we are about to pick up the speed and the volume off turn number 4. Green, green, green. And Bonsignor wins that drag race. Leah is glued to his back bumper, and there's Ted Christopher. like days of old on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. Car number 13 is Racy at the point. Monsignor is there. Then there's a gaggle of cars contending for the #1 spot.
Boy, the straw that is stirring the drink might be Donnie Leah as he dusts off Pennick. Pennick is not giving up without a fight. Determination behind the wheel of car number 93. He will settle into third. Look at the battle for fourth between Santos and Christopher. And now Timmy Salamino wants a piece of the action.
He sure does. And while all that's been happening, coming to the front of the field is Ryan Preece. Car number 6 is already moving in contention. This is now moved into the top 10 in the 10th position. Trouble now. Talman got a little bit out of shape. Woody Pitkat snuck on by there as well. Side-by-side racing with Szegedy along with the Preece machine, and that's the battle for the 8th and 9th spot currently.
And it looks like Preece gets the upper hand on the outside. So Preece is running the outside groove as well here on the tour as he does on the weekly basis in the SKs, and now he tucks it in front of Szegedy. So a pretty clever move by Ryan Preece. Now he's trying to chase down Patrick Emmerling.
Emmerling might have been considered a long shot at this event, but that is not the story here today, as Jan has soul magic at getting around this half mile. 45 circuits now complete and up on the board. Meanwhile, Preece looks over the Emmerling car, now is going to go to the inside, turn 3. Great move. Ryan Preece is now found a home among the top 8 cars.
And let's give a shout out to the driver of car number 14, Max Zackham, who has moved into the top 10, and now he is approaching the back bumper of the Todd Szegedy car.
While Ryan Preece is picking up spots lap after lap, Woody Pitkat is doing the same thing about 3 car lengths behind. So look at Pitkat now. What a move there to the bottom shot to try to pick up another position. Woody Pitkat, car number 88, is up to 11th with 47 laps complete, Matt. And now we see Ryan Preece going by the car for the team that he once drove that Salamino now sets behind the wheel of.
Boy, a pretty good move by Pitkat to get by Max Zackham in a hurry. Now Goodale and Massey are getting by Brandon Brock as he made a mistake of getting trapped on the outside. Here comes Keith Rocco. He tries to whirlwind his way around Troy Talman. So Rocco has plenty of juice left. At the front of the field is Monsignor, and within handshaking distance is Donnie Leah. Look at Preece going to get Santos.
Preece on the inside went by Santos almost like he stopped on the racetrack, but they're at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour. Now Ryan Preece, remember, strategy, first car to pit today for fuel. And now it is Preece who's moved back into contention in the top 5. Off the turn, single file, top 3. Then we've got a little bit of a gap, and then it's Pennick, and that is going to be the next victim of Preece. That's how quick Preece is running here, Matt. He's all over him.
Let's see what he does as they enter turn number 3. He goes down low, looking for some bite. Comes up empty that time. And now Pennick is doing a good job of protecting his turf. And the action could come this time in turn number 3. Let's see what Ryan Preece does.
Preece now setting Pennick up a bit. There it is. Inside move. It is Preece side by with Pennick. And Ryan Preece moves into position number 4. Pennick back to 5. Santos in for 6. Salamino for 7. Pitkat for 8. Szegedy for 9th. And then Emmerling to round out the top 10. Preece can do it. Woody says so can he. He'll move to the inside, pick up the spot around Salamino, and Woody Pitkat is one step closer to getting to the front, up in the 7th spot now, Matt.
Boy, Preece and Pitkat are running so strongly. Pennick and Salamino knew exactly what was coming, and there was nothing they could do to stop it.
Car number 9 is starting to smoke. That's the Chase Dowling car, the S&S asphalt paving car. We'll see what the NASCAR officials will decide on that. And there is the black flag for the number 9. Looks like a body panel, pretty much the story with that situation. Car 51 took the lead on lap 29 and has maintained the lead 56 and counting, Matt. Donnie Leah still setting in the second spot. And now Woody Pitkat is moving closer to challenging Bobby Santos, his brother-in-law, in turn 3.
So the brother-in-laws are going at it, coming into turn number 4. And Ryan Preece is trying to narrow the deficit between him and Ted Christopher. I don't think there's any question the two fastest guys out there right now are Ryan Preece and Woody Pitkat.
Down the back straightaway, look at Pitkat, reeling him in, dives to the inside. Santos guards the spot, little family rivalry going on there. And that, as we've said, is the battle for the 6th position. Here comes Pitkat again.
He has a little more room this time, and he makes it work.
He sure does. Now he'll set his sights. Pitkat looking to reel in on Rowan Pennick. And once he got by Santos, Matt, it seems that he could close up that gap so quickly. Woody Pitkat is the fastest car on the racetrack, currently 59 laps in.
And now he's trying to put that speed to use against Rowan Pennick. Meanwhile, look who has caught up to Christopher. The white number 6 of Ryan Preece. So things are getting very interesting. 4 cars about getting ready to fight for the lead. Bonsignor, Leah, Christopher, and Preece. And now Pennick is in danger of being obliterated by that number 88 of Woody Pitkat.
Once Woody gets to him, they touch down in turn number 1. Pennick was literally sideways for a second. Woody Pitkat is a man possessed as car number 88 is up in the top 5. Pitkat currently running in the 5th position. Once he got there, now he's even closing up the gap on Preece. Car 88, the Buzzchew Chevrolet machine, is a rocket.
You know, Woody Pitkat said this is his bucket list race. This is the one race that he wants to win. And we just saw how much he wants to win it with the move he put on Pennick. Now Preece is getting ready to make one against Ted Christopher. So things are about to get interesting in the fight for 3rd place.
Certainly is. Interesting is one of many adjectives you could describe this battle. Preece can reel him in. We haven't seen Christopher run so consistent as he has been running in these last few laps. And Rocco is also starting to come back towards the front. Remember, they pitted for fuel in the last group that pitted 64 laps in.
Well, he moved into 12th with a great move over Steve Massey.
Trouble. Down the back straightaway, the 64 machine. Oh, we've got a spin. And it is directly in front of Donnie Leah. Ted Christopher, who made contact. Look at the rear rub rail on the right side of the 13 for Christopher.
It was Gary McDonald involved in car number 26.
Now take a look,
Preece
Matt.
was able to get through to the high side, but Christopher, we examined that car and it does not look good.
Christopher's car, the rear rub rail behind the right rear tire, is sticking in the opposite direction it was originally mounted.
Yeah, the rub rail has just been rubbed the wrong way.
It certainly has. Donnie Leah did an amazing job, as the story can be said the same. The top 3 cars.
13.
Come down the pit lane first is going to be that of Justin Bonsignor. They need to come in and get fuel. This is their fuel stop race for the 51 machine. A lot of different pit strategies being played out, and with the damage on Ted Christopher's machine, they're going to take that right rear Nerf bar and try to reattach it to the right rear of that automobile. They'll also fill it up with Sunoco Racing gasoline. They've got some adjustments there. No fuel for Bobby Santos and his machine. This is an open motor. They are only on pit road to make a significant chassis adjustment down in the left rear, Tony Sutton.
Team is working on that Nerf bar to get it pulled back. They've got the sawzall out as well. It's off. A lot of fuel because the tank did not go into the nozzle, and now they got the hammer out trying to bang in the pieces that are loose as Christopher sits anxiously in his seat, down away, and take Christopher in the 13th away.
Christopher has a good race car, and he knows that, and he wants to get back out in the thick of all of this. I want to point out something else here. The Goodale number 58 car. We've been watching all the intensity of what's been happening up front, but that car has been turning some of the quickest laps of any car in the field. Now, as you look out on the racetrack after the pitting, you'll discover that that car has now moved into the top 5. And he's going to be a factor. He's really come into his own. Back down on pit road.
Well, the reason why he's come into his own, Ben, is just some of the changes that they've made in the offseason for Eric Goodale. And I think the momentum for this team started with that at his home track at Riverhead last summer. He carried that momentum into the offseason. They made some changes, got the equipment, got the best people working on this team. And I think Eric Goodale is just as more confident than he's ever been. This particular race car, you talked about New Smyrna, Florida. They took it down there. They ran there. They ran on the Southern Modified Tour, and until a couple of weeks ago, he was actually the point leader of the Southern Wheeling Modified Tour, but was committed to running on the North Series, so came up here, and he's had some very solid runs, saying, you know what, if I didn't have bad luck, I could have maybe been a runner-up at Thompson. Might not have had a shot for Doug Coby, but this race car, outside of the race at Thompson, has been on the podium every single time. That just goes to show you how Eric Goodale is. Tony, so
They have to repair that right rear nose bar that they pulled off because it has to be on there to protect that tire. So now what they've got to do is take the mounting plates off of the part that was on there before and try and realign with the new one, but they've got some bent metal, so they're really working hard on this, and this is going to be a lengthy stop for number 13, Ted Christopher.
Now we have a question for you. Who has the fastest lap so far in this race? It's an 18.501, and the man who has done that, Woody Pitkat. So Pitkat has had the fastest lap so far, and he might have used it that lap to get by Pennick. I don't know exactly when the race had happened, but Pitkat has been very fast, and he said this is his bucket list race. He would really love to win it, and one of the reasons he looks down the list of winners, and he would like to be in that company of the Evans and the Jeff Bodines and the Greg Sachs and the Stefanics. Woody Pitkat would really love to join that group.
You know, and he is rapidly moving up the list on the all-time win list here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. And I don't think a lot of people focused on that before, but green flag is back out, and they're focusing on the battle between Preece and Pitkat in the front row. Preece back command. All of a sudden, Todd Szegedy decides he wants to get racy and runs to the outside of Rowan Pennick in the battle for the third spot. Now, keep your eyes on Keith Rocco. Matt, Rocco is also coming back to the front of this field. They made some adjustments and pitted for fuel, and Rocco now seems to be stronger than he was during the first 70 laps of this event.
Yeah, he got by Massey, and now he veers to the outside of Eberling. So in the jet stream right now is Keith Rocco in car number 22. This is his type of race. Coming from mid-pack and wheeling and dealing his way through cars, he's trying to get it done against Eberling.
He certainly is, and Eberling is guarding side lane rather impressively, but here comes Rocco running to the outside. Side-by-side racing a little further back, just out of the top 10. That's where Donnie Leah is with Salamito. As now we've got a bit, Matt. It's just as we predicted. Goodale is moving forward. He's going to take over the fourth spot.
here today on the pit lane. Woody Pitkat, one among the leaders to hit his pit stall first. He'll change tires here on this pit stop. He already has his fuel to also try to open up the stagger a little bit to try to tighten that car up a little bit for the number 88 of Woody Pitkat. Also in for service, his only pit stop of the day. It'll be Todd Zegedy, 3-tire change. They were really happy with the way the race car was handling. They're going to make a pretty significant adjustment, even though he was running inside the top 5 to help improve the handling. Patrick Emmerling, a good solid run for him. He'll take 3 tires as well, make some adjustments to that 07, Tony Sutton.
It's a really, really difficult pit location because the back of the car is sticking out way out of his pit. As they're going to 3-star, they have a major adjustment on the rear. Whoa, and I'll tell you what, it is so busy out here. These guys are dancing around, making sure they stay out of harm's way as Santos gets 3 tires. Santos down and out.
So Todd Zegedy beat everybody out. It's all the front runners in car number 4. Woody Pitkat, one of the changes they made to the Buzz Chew crew, he says one of his tire changers now is the owner of his SK Modified, Adam Scavera, and Woody says Adam is one of the best tire changes around. So he said his crew has been upgraded with Adam Scavera as a tire change.
Down pit road, and they took 3 rounds of wedge and put it into the back of that race car. And it's funny because you see the sun come out a little bit, then the cloud cover, then the wind picks up. These teams are having a real hard time nailing down the setup, and that could play into the strategy of Ryan Preece as we get down the stretch when he comes in for his tires a little bit later in the day.
Let's go to Tony Sutton.
Obviously, that's exactly what happened. The 44 was so far out of his pit box, but the officials didn't say anything initially because there's just no place to go because so many cars came in. But they are very concerned about that, so to get the cars in as close in as possible. Christopher's back in there working real hard, putting some long bolts in, trying to get that nerd car established. He's going to go another lap down, back upstairs.
Well, Massey is late to come out of pit road, and that is going to cost him. Is down the back straightaway. The leader is about to put Massey down a lap. Good side-by-side racing now. Look at Todd Zegedy. Now Zegedy
going around is Salzarulo as he merry-go-rounds his way in John Deere country. Will it bring out the low? It hasn't come out yet.
Meanwhile, look back to the front of the field. There is the 14 machine. Max Jacob turning in a great run. And now look at Zegedy. He took a peek at the inside. Now he's there alongside Matt.
He's able
to
second turn. He's carves his way underneath the 14. Doug Colby, the best he has been in a long time. And now he has to hold off Woody Pitkat. But Doug Colby is in the top 5.
Certainly is. Colby, every adjustment they made was textbook, picture perfect. And it's now starting to show. Up to 4. Woody Pitkat in for 5, and here comes Dale for the 6th spot. Goodale might have been considered a sleeper going in, but he is making a lot of noise now, Matt, with car 58 back up front. Zegedy goes around Massey, the lapped automobile.
And a battle shaping up. Here comes Woody Pitkat. Like soda out of a shaken can, he is able to get underneath Doug Colby.
Woody Pitkat now moves into the 3rd position. Car number 88. Doug Colby follows him as Goodale sets directly behind them. Up front, Preece took the lead back on 68.
And here comes Pitkat, making a bold move to the bottom, going way to the outside is a lap car of Massey. So not only does Pitkat get by, so does Colby, Goodale, and Keith Rocco.
A little further back, Rowan Pennick made contact with Donnie Leah. And now they're starting to get settled back in. 110 up on the board, 90 circuits to go.
And we're going to have a pretty good battle shaping up between Woody Pitkat and Doug Colby, but the yellow comes out for the 6th time.
We've got a spin to the bottom of turns 1 and 2 coming out.
I think these are 2 of the biggest gambles in the history of the Sizzler. The first one was Preece coming in on lap number 20 to get fuel, and the second one staying out on lap number 115. You know, it could work and he can get the caution when he wants one, or we could be in for a long green. That's why they call it gambling, and Priest is ready to roll the dice as we get rolling on lap number 116.
85 circuits remain in the event. Priest still holding on. Look at Szegedy. Senior comes out of pit road. And that gives Todd Szegedy a slight advantage as Todd Szegedy takes over the lead. He becomes the 5th different leader. Side-by-side racing for second.
Let's see what Kobe can do. In car number 2, gets a little nudge by Kid Rock. Keith Rocco. This is Rocco's kind of race. Come from behind action, and he is on the verge of pulling even with the 6 car.
No question about it. Keith Rocco has planned his strategy well with Brad LaFontaine. And Rocco is on the podium in 3rd. Woody Pitcat.
Oh, trouble for Goodale.
Goodale.
I think he got a piece of the wall. Pennick drifts up the track
and somehow gathers it back, and they're all okay. Unbelievable that that could happen there at those speeds. Look at the battle for second. Keith Rocco, Kid Rock, up to second. And Santos and Priest are side by side. That strategy for Priest might not pay off, Matt.
Well, it doesn't look good right now as Santos got by him. And Goodale, that car might be a little wounded. It looked like he made contact with the wall, but he is approaching the back bumper of the 6 car. Kid Rock in second, trying to track down Todd Szegedy.
Priest is now almost a full second behind the leaders, so he has dropped off considerably.
Pitcat ready to make a move against Kobe. Here he comes as he tries to shuffle down low against the 2 car.
They're side by side, wheel to wheel, coming off the turn. Bonsignor heading back down on pit road. Woody Pitcat stuck the nose in there, and now Pitcat is up to 3rd. And there's Donnie Leah, Matt. We haven't talked about him in a few laps.
Well, there's a vacancy on the inside as Kobe is caught on the outside. Leah has the leverage. Let's see if he can dynamite his way. Contact. Contact between Leah and Kobe. Kobe recovers.
Was an amazing recovery for Doug Kobe. Santos is there. Kobe didn't even lose a position. Now he will lose that spot as Santos will pick up a spot. 124 when they come to the line. 75 to go, Matt. Wow, what a move that was, and what a save by Kobe.
Yeah, Leah gave him a little time to correct, and Kobe did. As a great save. Now it is Szegedy trying to pull away from Keith Rocco. 75 laps to go. I don't know if Keith Rocco has driven a 200 lap many times before. He was in a couple of Spring Sizzlers. His best ever tour finish was at the Spring Sizzler when he finished 3rd.
That is right. Now it appears that Rocco is gaining. Last time by, their times, the 4 and the 22, were almost identical, Matt.
So they are dead even cars, and Szegedy has the advantage. Pitcat a distant 3rd. And Doug Kobe, how healthy do you think that car is after getting a little pounding by the 8 of Leah? He looks pretty strong right now.
Sure does. And Santos, he had a good car, they said. The pit stop was not what they had hoped for. Priest is now struggling as Goodale will pick up the spot around him. But Keith Rocco didn't even know a few days ago that he would be driving Sprinkler in the Wheel and Modified Tour. Picked up the ride. And now he is contending up front. And Todd Szegedy, pretty much a Cinderella story there as well, Matt.
And you know, the thing to remember about Ryan Priest, he might be struggling now, but all it will take is a yellow flag to change that. If he gets fresh rubber, he can move right back into the front. A good run for Troy Tomlin so far, as he is running in the top 10. So the 3 car looks like it did in the old days. So the 20-year-old kid driving the 50-year legendary car, he's doing a great job.
Certainly is. Now remember, Keith Rocco did not have the opportunity to practice with that race car. You do realize, because he didn't even know he was going to be driving that race car. So he really had the first lap when the Sizzler weekend began on Saturday behind the wheel of car number 22.
Yeah, they only got an hour to practice, so it's not like he had a lot of seat time to get comfortable in that machine.
Brad LaFontaine is the man that creates magic for
I think
that
he
team.
would be the perfect crew chief for Keith Rocco. Brad LaFontaine likes to come from behind, and so does Kid Rock.
Now the leader, Zegedy, comes up on lap traffic. Zapienza, Johnny Bush. Now it looks like Woody Pitcat is perhaps closing up that gap on Keith Rocco. Santos and Kobe, they're pretty much together in a two-car battle.
A lot of lap traffic for them to get by right now.
And then Leah with Goodale working around those lap cars.
Sapienza in the 36 and Johnny Bush in the 33, McDonald in the 26, all give way to the front runners.
Fastest car in the last two circuits, guess who, Matt? Woody Pitcat.
65 laps to go. Brahma is at the front with Todd Zegedy trying to win his first ever Sizzler. Now Doug Kobe has started to come to life as he is giving Bobby Santos a lot to think about as they enter the fourth quarter.
Certainly is. Kobe just did an amazing job of saving that race car.
I think there were buzzards flying over that car earlier today. And Doug Kobe, this is how you win championships. When it looks like you're having a terrible day and you're able to salvage a great finish.
Trouble. Off turn number 4, Dave Sazzarillo again has a problem. He has not had a good day whatsoever with car number 37, the Brick-and-More machine.
And we'll find out from our pit crew in just a moment, our pit reporters, how relaxed that 6 team is now.
That's right. 7 cautions in the event.
Remember, 2 years ago, he lost his ride in that number 2 car, recommended that Doug Kobe take his place. You know, a great sportsman. Last year, he drove on a part-time basis for Rob Fuller, and right before the season started, he got the ride in the Mystic Missile. And Priest is on pit road. Headed down towards Joe Koss and Tony Sutton. Okay, the crew is up on a roll. They got tires for the number 6. Brian Priest into his spot. Puts it up off the wall. They've got enough room to maneuver. 3 tires go over. Rear and a right front. Backs down. Jackson is the right side out. Ends up wheels off. Replacement wheel is on. Right rear is going on, and they are moving as fast as they can to get Ryan back out. A little delay. Over to Joe. I think for Ryan Priest and his team, just about nobody except for Johnny Bush on the pit lane, so they can take their time, get it tight, and get it right for him to be able to send it out onto the racetrack. I worked my way up to the other end of the pit lane and caught up with the crew chief for Todd Zegedy, and that is Donnie Barker. And Donnie, you and Todd have had a lot of success in modified racing. You marry back up again for this season. You're back in Stafford. You're back out front. What are your thoughts on your performance today? Well, so far everything is going to plan. We've got to see what happens when these other guys get their tires on. They're going to be coming pretty hard and pretty fast, but I don't know. I think we got something for them today. I hope so. Todd Zegedy, Donnie Barker, confident as ever coming into today's event. We'll take a walk. Keith Rocco has been there and worked with Teddy before. It's like you guys were made for each other.
The same style driving that Teddy Christopher is. He dodges in real hard into the corners, and you know, he's got a good style. He knows his way around here. The unfortunate thing is we didn't have too much of a notice here to get him ready, and the seat's not fitting him too good, so he's complaining. But I told him I don't care if he's flopping out of the seats. Let's get this job done.
That's the words from Brad LaFontaine. He's a crew chief for the Chris Hour on number 22. Tommy Barrett is here. He's on the pit lane overseeing the
Has the freshest tires in the field, and as you look at 58 laps to go, I
Plenty
think
of time.
he's got more than enough time to come back to the front.
And he is in 14th place now. And this is going to be a race within a race. We'll see the battle at the top between Zegedy, between Rocco, and between Pitcat. And then that 6 car will be tracking a lot of attention. Ryan Priest with the fresh rubber He has 58 laps to try to track down Todd Szegedy.
Get ready. Hold on to the edge of that seat because it's showtime again off the turn. Keith Rocco side by side with Szegedy. Evenly matched. Pitcat right in there on the inside mat. Down the back straightaway.
Pitcat sticking his nose in there as they whirlwind their way around the fourth corner. Santos goes around
with Kobe.
And everybody avoids him.
Ryan Preece did an amazing job, almost coming to a complete stop, then going right to left and somehow making it through all of that.
And Preece is going to pick up a lot of spots in this melee.
So McDonald's brings out another caution between 3 and 4.
Trying to get it figured out, so every little infant helps us out. So, no, he's in good shape. I think we're good to go here.
It's Tommy Grasso, crew chief for Ryan Preece. But I tell you, a lot of eyes turned to that 16 because all of a sudden, all at once, the crew jumped up off the pit wall, head to the tire cart to see what was going on, to examine some of the tires, but just doing a little bit of R&D as they work this new race car and now try to get it to victory lane.
Well, that race car works. It already proved itself in Florida, kind of a spring camp for the 6 team to get all their ducks in a row, per se. Tommy Grasso and the Grasso brothers, they're hard workers. Green flag is back out. And Szegedy still on top. Pitcat, Woody Pitcat by a nose, make it half a car. Pitcat's up to second. Goodale is right back there again, Matt.
Yeah, Eric Never Say Die Goodale is torturing the back bumper of the Keith Rocco car, and his bumper is getting ruffled by the aid of Leah. On the outside is Pennick, and Ryan Preece is trying to navigate his way through traffic.
He is already up to the top 10. Preece is flying to the front of the field. Off the turn, still Szegedy the leader, but Pitcat looks to the outside. 50 circuits remaining. Look at Preece now. Going to the outside. Look easy. Patrick Emmerling is his next target. The 6 is a car with a mission, and Preece has the plan in hand.
And that is Dive Bomb, the 07, and it worked to perfection. So Preece has picked up another position. Remember, he pitted early for fuel on lap number 20, so he has to make that fuel last for another 48 laps.
Now here's a side note, Matt. What about this strategy? Ryan Preece was the first car to pit for fuel. Will he have a fuel problem? Think about that.
Well, right now he almost had a Leah problem as he went up to go around him and went up high to block him. So now there's room on the inside. There goes Preece again, trying to tap dance around the number 8 car. And now he has the hole he wanted, so the bottom shot eventually paid off.
Off turn 4. Pitcat trying everything to get around Szegedy. 46 laps remain. Preece now up in the top 5. Preece now moves into 5, and he is going forward. And there's still enough time to get the job done. Look at Donnie Leah underneath Pennick, Matt.
And Donnie Leah has some ammunition in that car. And he just shoots down to 93 of Pennick. Here comes Pitcat making things interesting again as he is all over that number 4 car. So what does Pitcat do? He finished 4th in last year's Spring Sizzler. The best finish ever for Todd Szegedy. He finished 2nd in 2009.
Preece came off the turn. He almost scuffed the wall. His next target is Goodale. These were the 2 cars that were built almost simultaneous. Look at Preece.
Whoa.
And look
he
at
gets
Goodale.
paid back.
Crossover move down the back straightaway.
A crossover, but Preece has some power on the outside. Remember, he has fresher tires. And I think that's the reason he was able to get by Goodale on the outside groove.
Preece up to 4. His next target will become Keith Rocco. In second, still Woody Pitcat. Leader is still Todd Szegedy. 42 laps to go.
We have Szegedy has never won the Sizzler. Pitcat has never won the Sizzler. Rocco has never won the Sizzler. Ryan Preece, his best finish was second to Doug Kobe. So and Eric Goodale has never won the Sizzler. So this means a lot, and it means a lot to Pitcat, who's looking for operating room to go underneath the fours. Now he goes up high to get momentum, and he might go downstairs to try to get the position.
He'll try it down the back straightaway, reels him in. There it is. Woody Pitcat. Solid move to the bottom, side by side, off turn number 4. They click and they clank as they come to the line. Woody Pitcat is on top of his game and in position number 1.
With 39 laps to go, he is the leader of the Spring Sizzler. Szegedy trying to stay within striking distance, but the man that Pitcat and everybody else is keeping an eye on, Ryan Preece, currently running all by his lonesome in the number 4 position.
Preece has the freshest tires. Will he have enough fuel? He's in the 4th spot, gaining and closing up the gap on the 2 car of Keith Rocco. Woody Pitcat, once in command, he is now trying to string it out just a bit. 38 laps and counting.
And we'll see if Preece can start to close in on Keith Rocco, the 3rd place car. As they hurricane their way into the 3rd turn, it looks like Preece is getting a little quicker. His last lap was a 5.33. He is 1/10 of a second faster than Keith Rocco right now.
He certainly is, and you can see it. Watch the Preece car come off that 2nd turn down the back straightaway, and you'll see, watch that gap. He just closes it up, and he is getting stronger. Preece is turning the same laps as Woody Pitcat is as the leader. So Preece has something left in his bag of tricks, but Woody Pitcat wants this for the bucket list, and he isn't going to give up without a solid fight.
But getting by Keith Rocco is not going to be a picnic. Remember, Keith Rocco is just racing for a win. Here comes Preece, got halfway there, and then backs out of it.
Again, Preece reels him back in. Rocco trying to guard his line in position number 3.
Those drivers have had battles like this in the SK Modifieds, but never in this showcase on the Whelen Modified Tour. Will Preece take another shot? It looks like he will.
And he does. Rocco does a little slipping and sliding there as Preece goes low, and Ryan Preece is on the podium in 3rd. Goodale starts to work over Rocco. How many laps left? 31 when they cross the stripe.
And those laps can't tick off the scoreboard quickly enough for Woody Pitcat, trying to pull away from Szegedy. But now the plot thickens as Preece will try to run down the 4 car of Todd Szegedy. And how will it take for Preece to get within striking distance?
You can see how quick that car still is, and that gap, that margin between him and the 4 car continues to close up. And what's going to be a factor in all this? Some lap traffic perhaps could be a helper or, well,
a curse. What about Eric Goodale as he looks to trampoline his way underneath Keith Rocco in the 22 car? And Eric Goodale, there is no surrender flag in his repertoire. Here he comes, got the adrenaline charge, and he gets by Rocco. And Donnie Lea will be trying to do that.
Donnie Lea is right there. Rocco has to settle back into position. And Kobe and Emmerling got a battle for the 8th spot going on.
Well, if Kobe can pull a top 10 out of this race, I think he would have to be, well, not satisfied, but it could have been a lot worse. Now, remember, Woody Pitcat is about 40 laps more wear and tear on his tires than Ryan Preece does. The same thing is true for Todd Szegedy. Now, is that going to make a difference where we will be down to the final 26 laps? And really, Ryan Preece has not made that much progress against Szegedy, and this lap traffic between him and the 4 car is not going to make matters any easier.
It certainly is not. Spencer Davis is several laps down. Teddy Christopher is also laps down. They make way, and that gives Preece the opportunity to get back to racing and chasing down the Todd Szegedy machine. When they come to the stripe this time, there'll be 24 circuits remaining, 24 laps left, and Woody Pitcat has dreamed about this since he was a kid, to be the big winner here at Stafford on Spring Sizzler. Sunday afternoon festivities still turning in some great record times, Matt. And Priest is closing up the gap, but not by a lot.
Leah right now is 5th, Rocco 6th, Pennick 7th, Kobe 8th, Eberling 9th, and rounding out our top 10, Jamie Tomato. If he could finish in the top 10 in this race, what a boost it will be for him. But Bobby Santos is approaching his back bumper, so this will be a very tight battle.
Now, leader Woody Pitkat comes up on perhaps the heaviest traffic that he has seen in the event.
Now that last lap for Pitkat was 18.780. For Priest, 18.869. So not much difference between the two drivers, but Woody Pitkat is a little slower right now than Ryan Priest.
But it's pick and choose time to get through the lapped automobiles. And Pitkat does have a cushion between him and Todd Szegedy. Lapped automobiles, yep.
By Jeff Goodale. Now he approaches Sean Salamito. This could be an opportunity for Todd Szegedy to narrow the gap.
19 circuits left. Pitkat goes around the other Salamito car. Dave Zapienza, next car to go down a lap. And Ryan Priest is trying to narrow it down. Cars are not working necessarily in his favor. And you can see the distance there.
Every time he has to get by a lap car, it takes away a couple of laps he might need to get by Woody Pitkat. Goes to the outside of Jeff Goodale. And it's still a healthy lead for Woody Pitkat, as he is 17 laps away from the biggest win of his career.
Brendan Bach is our leading rookie, 12th spot. He wasn't even considered a factor a year ago.
I don't know if he was considered to be a factor today.
Yep, a great job by that young talent.
First race ever to be in 12th place is amazing.
16 laps remaining.
Rocco trying to hang in there, but Eberling is pounced on him, and Eberling is able to get by Rocco for the number 8 position. And at the front, Woody Pitkat still has a formidable advantage over both Todd Szegedy and Ryan Priest.
Pitkat going around the Salamito car is hard a lap. Massey off the pace to the inside. And now there's some free clear racetrack between the 4 car of Szegedy and Priest.
You know, you got to give Woody Pitkat's crew, the Buzz 2 Chevrolet team, a lot of credit. Usually, when the second place car does what the leader does. When Ryan Priest stayed out on lap number 100, you figure that Pitkat would stay out, do what the leader did. Instead, he went in for tires, and that might have been the move of the race for Woody Pitkat.
You are absolutely correct. And
he didn't follow the leader, and then a few laps became the leader.
12 circuits remaining as they cross the stripe.
Heavy lap traffic in front of the 88.
But Pitkat makes it look easy. Comes up on the Troy Talman number 3 car as his next car. And now Priest is closing up that gap on Todd Szegedy. But he's only got 10 laps to do it, Matt.
And he got caught on the outside there. That car looked very sluggish in between turns 1 and 2.
Pitkat comes up on the Johnny Bush race car.
He took a very high line in these turns the last time around. Keeps the car a little bit lower now. But Woody Pitkat has made it through the layer of lap traffic. And the countdown for Pitkat has begun. 9 laps separating him and a Spring Sizzler championship.
Pitkat dominating up front. And Brandon Block just broke into the top 10 as your leading rookie.
Well, we have
continues to
JD
get better.
Tomato, the old man in 9th, and Brandon Bach, the youngest guy in the field, running 10th. So we have the oldest guy and the youngest running together. What a heartwarming story that is.
It certainly is, and it appears that Keith Rocco's car is starting to back up late in the event. 6 circuits to go for Woody Pitkat. He told us his strategy. He lived up to that strategy. He wants this one really, really bad.
Now remember, he went for fuel on lap number 30, and some people might wonder if he will have enough to go the distance, 170 laps. But right now, that car looks strong.
When he comes to the stripe, the high 5 will be given. 5 circuits to go. And cannot muster enough to get up to Szegedy to contend for that second spot.
And Szegedy can't muster enough to move close to Pitkat, to challenge him. So now Woody approaches the number 13 car of Ted Christopher. Christopher many laps down. But it's always an adventure when you approach the 13 car. We'll see how this plays out.
Christopher gives way to Woody Pitkat.
Gave him the red carpet ride around him.
Next car to go down the lap is going to be Keith Rocco.
Down to 3 laps. Woody Pitkat. He is close enough to count the squares on the checkered flag, but he still has 2.5 more laps to go.
Off turn number 4. To the stripe. Down to the line they come. 2 circuits to go.
Szegedy in second. There is not much that he can do as the lap car, Gary Putnam, is in front of him. Pitkat in turn number 3. Here comes the hometown kid, Woody Pitkat, 1 lap away from the biggest win of his career.
Woody Pitkat dreamed about this day. The kid from Stafford. The race fans love him. The community loved him. And now he heads to turn 3 for the final time. Ladies and gentlemen, Woody Pitkat has done it. He has won the greatest race in the history of spring, the Spring Sizzler, presented by Napa in the Buzzchew Chevrolet.
And he took the lead on lap 161. It just had everything his own way for the final 39 laps. He guessed right twice. Went for fuel on lap number 30, went for tires on lap number 100, and now he goes to victory lane on lap number 200. Let's run down the Spring Sizzler field unofficially.
Unofficially, Todd Szegedy finishing in second. Ryan Preece was third. Goodale would finish in the 4th spot. Donnie Leah for 5. Doug Kobe for 6. Rowan Pennick for 7. Patrick Emmerling for 8. Jamie Tomato, great run for 9th. Brandon Bach, first rookie to finish in 10th.
Then it was Bobby Santos at 11th. His 2-race Sizzler streak is over. Keith Rocco, 12th. Gary Putnam, 13th. Troy Tallman, 14th. Ken Hagee, 15th. Tim Salamino, 16th. Sean Salamino, 17th. Dave Sapienza, 18th. Johnny Bush, 19th. And Justin Bonsignor finishes 20th.
In the 21st position, Max Zakum. Then it's Brandon Ultra behind him. Following him is Jeff Goodale, Ted Christopher, Stephen Massey, and Anthony Norsella.
Then it was Dave Sazzarulo, Gary McDonald, Melissa Fifield, finishing 9th with Spencer Davis. 30th was Tom Rogers, Chase Dowling, and then the final driver is Kyle Elwood. And at the top, Woody Pitkat, kind of pointed in the right direction. And this is going to be a very heartwarming moment as he comes in.